Debit cards are kind of financial slavery in a way, because you just throw your money out in exchange for a item and you don't get anything back. So in this video, I want to go into depth of some of the other ways that debit cards are really not good to use and not preferable to use. Not even so much on why credit cards are good to use and beneficial, because I have a bunch of videos on that, kind of pretty much showing different cards and stuff like that. But I want to talk about why specifically debit cards are not good to be using. So like I said, at its foundational principle, when you use a debit card, you just exchange your cash for the transaction, sometimes a product, sometimes a bill, whatever, and you get nothing in return. You just throw that money into the toilet, flush it, that's it, it's gone forever. You don't get anything for it. So the number one reason is you get no type of cash back, no rewards, no nothing. This is not beneficial. It's way better to be able to get cash back or points or something towards something. Again, there's going to be all different types of cards, but at least be, when you make purchases, it's going towards something else, at least to be able to get something back in return when you're buying stuff. Number two is purchase protection. Purchase protection is very different when it comes to a debit card and a credit card. When you use credit card, you're using the bank's money. So obviously, when it comes to using the bank's money, it is going to be very different when you want to get a chargebacks and all that. It's going to be different than when you use your own money. When you use your own money, again, it's just out there. It's going to be very hard to get your money back. Sometimes if it's fraud and stuff like that, like bad fraud, is going to be easier to get your money back. But if it's not, very clear fraud, again, you're going through all these different layers and stuff to try to get your money back. Whereas with credit cards, it's way easier. I've even gotten my money back on transactions that wasn't even the most legit, so to speak, and I got it back because the bank doesn't play with their money. Their money is their money, right? And that's what it is when you're using a credit card, obviously, right? Another thing is obviously going to be, you don't help your credit when you use a debit card. Credit is obviously important for a multitude of reasons, a lot of different things you can do with credit, and reasons why it's important, and you don't build it when you just use a debit card. Again, the debit card is this one-dimensional purchasing method. It's just, you have cash, you give it to the merchant or whatever, and they provide you service, product, etc. There's nothing else, which is very clean for, and that's why, the Dave Ramsey types like it, because it's old school. There's no extra strings attached, so to speak. There's nothing extra going on, but part of that no extra going on is that there's no extra benefit for you. So you don't get to build credit is another reason why it makes no sense to use a debit card. Debit card is really slavery. You're just using this thing and just losing your value for buying something. There's a lot of bad parts of it with fraud protection, purchase protection, and all that, right? So you don't get benefits. You have limited liability when it comes to getting your money back if something happens. Also having these coupons, travel protections, all these things are things that can, even coupons, they have coupons on every single credit card pretty much. Depending on the credit card, they'll have higher and lower tier coupons, but they have all different types of coupons. There's always going to be a benefit to using credit cards. And the thing is, the reason why is because, people ask, why would, these banks offer all these credit card bonuses and coupons and discounts and all this? And the reason is because most people are going to fall into debt with credit cards. That's the dirty little secret. That's the trap. But what that means for you and I is that we can exploit these benefits and just rob the banks, because the banks are robbing a bunch of other people. So because of that, they can, like I said, offer all these coupons, all these benefits, free money, because they're going to be making a bunch more money off of other people. So with that being said, there's going to be a ton of benefits to using credit cards over debit cards. There is pretty much zero benefit over using a credit card or rather a debit card over a credit card. A debit card has no type of benefit. It is a neutral, bland, nothing type of method of purchase. So a credit card is always going to be superior. You just have to use it responsibly. So that's the only thing. As long as you're responsible and you have discipline, you're going to be robbing the banks, not the other way around. So if you enjoyed this video, if you found it informative, please let people know. Stop using debit cards. If you want to get out of debit card slavery, as I call it, let people know about this. I'll see you guys in the next video.